It is a stock that we stayed away from for a long time, maybe too long. For me, it's one of those companies that took a while to really wrap my head around what they were all about, partly because it's kind of a secretive company. They were a private company since 2003, but after 17 years, they went public in 2020. Then quickly became a favorite among retail investors. There are entire YouTube channels devoted to covering the company and the stock. Of course, we're talking about Palantir. And the more I learned about them, the more I liked not just what they do, but how they do it, their whole mindset, their philosophy. And no, Palantir does not have a simple elevator pitch that captures what they do. Obviously, they build software platforms, crazy advanced software platforms that turn complex data into AI automation and actionable intelligence. Their client roster, quite literally all over the map, from tech and healthcare and finance and energy and automotive and fast food chains. And we can't forget the military and national security. The CIA, FBI, NSA, and DoD are all Palantir clients, and they're doing the same thing in 150 other countries too. Today on Dumb Money, why right now Palantir has become our favorite AI stock.
This is Dumb Money Live.
Hey there, Dave here along with Chris and Jordan. We are Dumb Money. Welcome to Dumb Money Live. Quick reminder to smash the like button. Let the almighty algorithm know that we're on. I mentioned in the open that there's not really an elevator pitch for Palantir the way that some of our other favorite companies just naturally make sense. For example, NVIDIA makes the chips that companies can't get enough of. Apple sells the device and ecosystem that I personally interact with every day more than any other company, any other brand. Amazon sells everything, and their web services powers everything else. Tesla isn't a car company. It's an AI and robotics bet. And with just those four stocks, our portfolio is already very heavily weighted towards artificial intelligence and Apple Intelligence. So, Chris, Jordan, why Palantir and why now?
Well, Dave, first of all, this episode is, for me, I think you guys as well, this is 3 years in the making. We have never had a stock that our community want us to cover more than Palantir, where we just refuse to do it. Like, for 3 years. Remember back in 2020?
You can go back and watch old episodes where we're literally saying, I don't even want to start my research on Palantir because I know once I go down that rabbit hole, there's no coming out. And actually, if you look at the stock chart, all of that time that we were not thinking about it, not covering it, it was going down. And then it hit a low point, and we're like, I don't know, maybe we should look into it. And it's been just on a tear ever since.
Well, here's the thing. Palantir, I've been researching the stock for 3 years, and I just could never get over the hump when they were mostly focused on government. Obviously, there are a lot of concerns there about any company that's exclusively relying on government business. I just didn't have any interest in it at that time. But, the retail investors that went down that rabbit hole would have told you that this company was building something really special that at some point in time would materialize into one of the most important companies in the world. And I heard that, but I chose to wait to see it because I wasn't going to invest in Palantir as a government-only company, okay? Especially one that is focused just on America and America's allies. And something happened in the last 2 years where they started to make this transition to commercial customers, which basically opens up Palantir the entire world. That was not an easy thing to do. I wasn't sure if they would be able to pull it off. And at first, they didn't pull it off. They have
there were a lot of naysayers. There were a lot of people who were in that camp of there's no way they're going to be able to turn this like giant government behemoth into something that can be a product that Wendy's can use to, improve their systems. But they did. They did it.
Well, this is the thing. Even a year ago, it was questionable as to their ability to fully scale out that product in a meaningful way. And because they're so secretive, like I said, if you went down the rabbit hole and you did your research, you probably knew what they had. But for the rest of the world, it was kind of difficult to understand how real this differentiated approach really was when you have a nutball CEO who at least presents himself as a nutball. He's either like Elon Musk style genius, for those that believe Elon's a genius, or he's just crazy and you can't trust them, right? So like I was on the fence for a long time.
Yeah. No,
I'm not on
I
the fence
totally get
anymore.
that. And I do notice, by the way, today, is that your Halloween costume, dressing as Alex Karp? Because the white t-shirt
Looking at
is all
me.
I've ever seen him wear. Yeah.
What do you see him wear? What, white shirts?
Just a white t-shirt that he like
What,
literally he'll
no,
show up to like any like
I,
interview, business meeting.
no,
Like he's just a t-shirt guy.
no, Dave. I was going to wear an SMU T-shirt today, gray one, and as you are well aware, I almost didn't make the show because I left my phone on the club chair at the coffee shop, came all the way home and realized I didn't have my phone, freaked out. I couldn't even call you to tell you I was running late, but I couldn't message you till I got back to the coffee shop. That was literally 7 minutes before our show was about to start, and my coffee shop's 15 minutes away. I don't know how I made it. I killed half a dozen people on my way here. I'm so embarrassed if people
I'm
from the
really
neighborhood
glad
saw me.
that humanity survived your driving.
But
Even on a good day, your driving is terrifying. You should go watch the original
yeah.
Dumb Money shows to see that.
All right, so I don't want to mince words. Before I say what I'm about to say, I want to remind everyone we are definitely not financial advisors. We do not understand what your risk tolerance is. This show is not about mirroring our trades by any means. It's about us surfacing ideas and having you guys poke holes in it, do your own research, speak to your financial advisor, and figure out your own stuff. I want to make that very clear, but I do not want to mince words because this is a stock that I've been thinking about for 3 years. It's a stock that I have been deeply researching now for about 3 or 4 months before this show. We had intended, if you remember my past texts from the last few months, guys, we wanted to do this show before the S&P inclusion. I can't even, my heart dropped when the S&P inclusion, because I already owned it. I
qualified for the S&P inclusion the last time around, and we were like, oh, well, okay, good. We still have time to do the show.
Yeah.
And I apologize. My schedule has been crazy. Everyone's schedule is crazy. So we were not able to pull it together and do this show before was it last week that it got added?
Yes. So anyway, our bad, Dave's bad, well, our bad. So I don't want to mince words though. If you believe, like I believe, that we are on the cusp of a new world order due to the AI revolution, I firmly believe that. And this will usher in a handful of $10 trillion plus companies over the next decade. I firmly believe that. Palantir, for me, is a company that I can't not own. It's a company that so many people say is grossly overvalued. Their PE is too high at 80 or 90 or whatever it is. The CEO believes the company can be 10 times the size in the future. I believe there's a 50% chance of Palantir being 10 times its size in the next 10 years. I'm willing to take that risk. I know that we're on the cusp of a new world order brought on by AI, and Palantir, for me, is one of the 5 companies I have to own. I have to own them as part of that, because we can't wrap our head around the size of Palantir's total addressable market in 2024. And all of the analysts that are trying to project their growth rates based on now, you just can't do it. You just can't do it. And we'll talk about Palantir's differentiation. We'll talk about the thesis on this episode. But it's really all there's not enough information yet. AI is so big. It's like going back to the birth of the internet.
It's so big and so new and changing so quickly that how in the world are you going to make a projection? We see stock analysts trying to make their best projections, and good for them. They're doing their best, but they really have no idea. You can't predict the future. And if you think about this product in particular, this platform, even their website's demo of the AIP platform is just so kind of like mind-numbing. They have this example of it creating like a supply chain resolution bot And if you've ever gone through implementing Salesforce at a company, I can only imagine like how painful the onboarding process is to become a Palantir client. But the thing is, it just seems like the software that a manufacturing company can use, and that a logistics company can use, and that a insurance company can use, and that a fast food chain can use, like to all be using that same software. But somehow it works. It works incredibly well. They use natural language prompts to inform it what to do and let it make decisions. It looks like kind of like an integration wizard. It's just something that I haven't seen. I don't think
Dave,
there's any other company talking about doing this sort of thing.
Dave, I was at a company in the early days of Salesforce that decided to install Salesforce, and we were not that large of a company. We were hundreds of employees, not thousands or tens of thousands. It took us 2 years with a designated team doing nothing, nothing for 2 years, internal team, to build out Salesforce before we could launch it in the company. That was a 2-year onboarding process. 2 years before we onboarded Salesforce to anyone in the company. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, during that time, I purchased Salesforce stock because I saw what was happening, and nobody believed that the TAM for Salesforce, nobody believed that it could be as big as it was. But the moats that they were building in that space were just astronomical at the time. Now, I want to read something here, getting back to what I said about the world not being able to really understand the TAM for a company like Palantir. You know, Bank of America came out with an upgrade. I think it was like this last week. They said like $50 a share or whatever. They call it a watershed moment to revisit what you know about Palantir. Now, I hate quoting sell-side analysts because I just don't like sell-side analysts. I don't really read anything they have to say. But I thought this was really interesting. In 1980, AT&T hired a consultancy company to estimate the market size for cell phones by 2000. The study suggested there would only be 900,000 users by year 2000. The actual number of mobile subscriptions in 2000 was 100 million. Okay, 100 million. Okay, just think about that. They estimated 900,000 was 100 million. These early estimates also failed to anticipate the world of apps, streaming, smart devices, and ultimately how this new product would bring forward the first public trillion-dollar company. We view Palantir's capabilities, technology, and path forward facing a similar fundamental misunderstanding. The upcoming S&P inclusion provides a watershed moment for institutional investors to revisit what they, quote, know, meaning what they think they know, okay, about Palantir. We reiterate our buy rating and raise our price target to $50. Now, that doesn't really sound like a sell-side analyst. I'm pretty proud of it. I don't know who wrote this report for B of A. I worked with B of A for years at Ticker Tags. Remember that, Jordan? But I good for them. Good for them. Like that's exactly how I feel about Palantir 3 years into my research, and three or 4 months into very deep research, probably close to 100 hours in the last 3 to 4 months. This company, guys, they will tell you that, and I want to quote the CEO, because this is just such an interesting way to think about it. Jordan, I want to get your opinion on this. He says that large language models are like hydrocarbons in the ground, okay? And if you think that way, if you actually believe that, then you need a company like Palantir, because the hydrocarbon large language models, he's basically saying a large language model is a hydrocarbon, like oil, just energy, is useless without the processing from the equivalent of Palantir's AI platform.
LLMs are just a raw material.
What?
LLMs are basically a raw material that
Yeah.
needs to be harnessed. And
so, Jordan, because out of the three of us, you're the only one that has been knee deep the last year, working with AI, coding companies. Like this is your life every day. Just for fun, you do this. So what do you think about that statement? Is that accurate? Is that
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're going to get some language model or some model to understand your business, then you've got to organize the information inside that business. And what their whole thing is that they break your business into an ontology, right? Where they can actually understand the different categories. They can categorize things and make sense of the data underlying your business. That then you can use an LLM to interact with that ontology. So I think it was a succinct way to, I don't really love the hydrocarbon analogy, but I think he was going for like maybe a succinct way to explain things. But I do think that the work that they do up front on an ontology basis to really categorize what's going on in your business is kind of what is the magic of Palantir.
Well, and Dave, getting back to what you said about, and what I mentioned about Salesforce taking 2 years for us to build Salesforce out at our company, Palantir, their model, I've never seen anything like this for a company that has this large of a moat with what they could potentially charge clients. A leading convenience store chain went from prototype at a boot camp. For those of you that don't understand Palantir's sales model, listen, I spent my entire career before becoming an entrepreneur and investor in sales and biz dev. They have this thing called boot camp. Palantir investors know exactly what it is. But rather than pitching you with a PowerPoint presentation and the old school way of trying to get a company to buy your services, they sign you up for a boot camp, or more like it, you're on a wait list for a boot camp. And they essentially take your actual data as a company and show you what Palantir does for your company using its actual data. Well, they took a convenience store chain from prototype at a boot camp to a paid pilot in 25 days, then converted the inventory management and pricing optimization use case into initial production immediately following the pilot. I've never seen anything like that before. And what that means, guys, is that Palantir has the capacity to go from 0 right to 100 in almost no time, as quickly as they could sign clients up. It doesn't take years and years for clients to get ramped up and bought in to the Palantir ecosystem. They are up there
The
so
fact you can walk away from a boot camp with a ready to implement product is just unheard of in software. Because like you say, normally it is we're gonna show you a PowerPoint presentation, and then in our next meeting we're going to walk you through an example of some other generic data so you can see how it works, and then on the next meeting, like, it's how other companies haven't adopted this kind of philosophy. That doesn't really make sense to me, but it's probably because most software can't adapt that quickly.
When I sold intangibles, software, right? Our lead time could be 6 to 9 months just to get a deal done, right? But here's what's really interesting. On that same point, a major North American industrial company started working with Palantir in late 2022, expanded to a $5 million run rate in 2023, and further deepened the engagement to a $20 million run rate this year. One of America's leading hospitals began working with Palantir in 2021, generated about 1.5 million of revenue in 2022, over 4 million of revenue in 2023, and it is on track to generate 15 million of revenue this year. Now, what that means is that the bulk of Palantir's customers are all signed in the last year, okay? So all these customers are going to be doing 3x, then another 3x that the year later. And they're barely scratching the surface. I think they only have 300 commercial customers contracted in the entire world, and the company is massively profitable. That's not how it works for a software company. You need thousands and thousands of clients before your profitability. So if you extrapolate this, and I know that analysts and investors just can't really do this. So what you have to understand is, an analyst can't say that Palantir is going to grow, and Palantir can't say this either. They can't come out to Wall Street and say, hey guys, we're going to go for, I know we're growing this way right now, but we're going to start to grow like this in 2 years and 3 years and 4 years. They can't say that. It would be financially irresponsible. Sell-side analysts can't say that, okay? But if you read between the lines, that is a real possibility with Palantir. It's a real, and this is coming from, this is half of my life was in this type of sales model, okay? I'd never seen anything like this before. It's actually incredible. And if you overlay AI on top of this, and the revolution we're about to go through, the new world order we're about to go through, Palantir is literally in the pole position. They're in the pole position to be the company that might just be able to enable the benefits of AI for all of the world's enterprises better than any company on earth. So yes, are they overvalued on paper right now? Yes, on paper they look grossly overvalued right now.
Yeah, I think beyond just the PE number, it's trading at a 30 PE to sales, which is very expensive. It's a very expensive stock. So that's, but I mean, if you're looking for negatives, that's pretty much the negative is just what it trades at currently.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people, you could say like 70 to 100, depending on if you're using 24 numbers or 25 numbers,
what for
right?
PE to for EV to sales?
Oh no, I was
PE,
just doing
PE is
traditional
one thing.
PE.
They're growing. EV to sales, I think, is a little better way to look at it. It's expensive at 30.
But here's what I know I'm rambling here, but there's so many different things that I love about this company. One of the things I love most, and by the way, I want to give a call out right now to Amit's Amitis Investing, AMIT. So AMITIS Investing on Twitter. Okay, so
he's also on
Amit,
YouTube.
yeah, and on YouTube. He kind of is the Palantir content creator. He's the guy. For investors, he is the guy. So if you're invested in Palantir or even contemplating it, he is the must follow if you follow one person. One thing that I love that he does, which is what I do on everything that I invest in, is I do my best to try to get in front of the customers, because nobody knows, outside of, even more so than internal people at Palantir, nobody knows this company better than the actual end clients. In fact, he's at the Palantir summit right now this week. They do this every year. They're on their 5th one. It's the AI platform summit that they have, and he's interviewing Palantir customers. And if you actually listen to anyone in your network that actually uses Palantir, it is stunning. I read one quote. I don't know where I read it, but it was like, when we log into Palantir, it's like we're visualizing, like we're looking into the Matrix.
Plugging into the Matrix, yeah. I think that was on his one of his tweets.
That might be, that was one of his tweets. But here's the thing: I've spoken to people who have Palantir at their company, and they all say the same thing. I actually did speak to someone recently at my coffee shop who has a family member who used to work at Palantir and left, and I was like, oh boy, he left. Is there something wrong? I'm always curious, what am I missing? He's like, oh no. He's like, he can't stop talking about how next level that company is, and how the entire world has no clue just how many levels above everyone else they are. And those are the sort of little nuggets that you love to hear. And again, there is always risk investing in a high multiple company, because any hiccup in the technology sector, any hiccup at the company, any hiccup in the economy or the market at large, Palantir is the type of company that can get hit really hard, right? So it's a high beta company,
because their customers are a little more price. It doesn't matter if their customer is doing 3 times better using their software than not using their software. Even in hard times, they're not going to cut the thing that makes them 3 times more efficient.
Yeah, I totally, Dave, I could not agree more.
It's a sticky product. It also is a product that has potential for upsell too. And so what I was listening to is that Once they get in, build the ontology, and they've got an understanding of your business, as you ask for more insights that maybe they can't provide, they can turn those features around and then say, hey, we've got it. Why don't we sign a new service contract?
Jordan, I feel that Palantir is a company that once you're embedded with them, which again does not take years, wildly it only takes months. They have a chokehold on you. They literally have a chokehold on you.
Correct.
Now, so here's an interesting insight. Lennar Homes, which is a Palantir customer, saves $7 million per development. Per development, okay? Just laying down roads and utilities, okay? That is insane. Airbus Industries puts out planes 30% faster on their complicated supply lines due to Palantir technology. Hospitals are now are using Palantir. I think this was Mayo Clinic is using Palantir to understand when beds are likely to become open, and they're getting ahead of that, right? The implications for artificial intelligence in the in the world, in the commercialized world, none of us can wrap our head around it, but Palantir is on the bleeding edge of figuring that out and actually enabling the benefits for all of the world's companies. Put a price tag on that. I just want to remind everyone of something. Palantir's valuation, very high PE, but again, recently profitable. When you look at a company that's recently profitable and try to throw a PE, it's not always fair, okay? But
that's why I like EV to sales. So price to sales at 30. I mean, that's
okay.
No matter how you slice that, you can.
But Jordan,
30 price to sales or EV to sales it's expensive.
They're an $80 billion market cap company. Yeah. They're not a $1 trillion market cap company. Salesforce is like a $270 billion market cap company. I mean, the future of Palantir, I believe, relative, nothing wrong with Salesforce. I'm not a Salesforce hater. I no longer own it. But it's an $80 billion company, guys. It's not a $1 trillion company. I'm not saying that Palantir is going to be one of those $10 trillion companies that I know will surface here in the next decade. But I think
they're likely to use Palantir.
I can see them 10xing. I could see that as a real possibility. I like the risk reward for me, not for you.
Like they're a run as a startup that is creating enterprise software, but they've been around for 20 years. I don't know if you've come across this in your research, Chris. What were they doing 20 years ago when they started, before AI was a thing? Like, what was their software then?
I can't answer that question. I was not researching Palantir 20 years ago. I think it was 17 years ago. But
they started almost 20 years ago. They went public after 17 years, and that was in 2020. So
after 7, okay, gotcha.
They're coming up on 20 years.
That's pretty much when I started my research. I don't know, man, but it almost doesn't matter. But I want to talk about corporate culture, which is extremely important. From what I understand, the culture inside of Palantir is phenomenal as it relates to engineers. Okay, so it's an engineer-driven company, which kind of scares me sometimes. But I feel like an engineer-driven company is only good when it actually works, when it clicks and works.
It's engineer-driven, but I feel like it's also their CEO is like a visionary. I think you mentioned Elon Musk earlier. I feel like it is that kind of like mad scientist kind of thing.
Listen, Dave,
with the hair.
I love it, man. I love it. He's a boomer. Listen, here's the thing. Just like NVIDIA, this is a boom or bust type CEO, meaning he's reaching for the stars. Okay. And 9 out of 10 times, 99 out of 100 times, when you have someone like that, they take measured risk and it doesn't always go well, right? So you have to understand the risk of a CEO like that. But this is
But
why I had.
here's a quote. You gave a quote from him earlier. This is a quote on kind of their overall philosophy. They believe that they could build a company that would make America and its allies stronger, better, more intelligent, more agile, and wealthier. They took a lot of positions that looked outside of the norm. Some people said batshit crazy, like America is good, the West is good, you should fight for meritocracy. We can make industry in America dominant. We do not apologize. The best and greatest country in the world. I mean, he's kind of like saying, I'm building the software to make America great again, to grow these industries, to turn our stocks, just amplify them to 10. And they build software that is both for government and for private sector, and it's just
So-
it's a very unique business proposition.
So here's the deal. If you haven't seen a lot of this guy Karp in person, like in interviews, he's on Bill Maher tonight. Tonight he's on Bill Maher. That is going
That's
like
ridiculous.
I'm not the biggest Bill Maher fan, but that is going to be off the chain. I mean, I can't even imagine where that conversation is going to go tonight. I like you got to.
Bill Maher's interviews are so short. You're not going to. I don't think we're going to get enough out of him, but I will definitely be watching, or at least in the replay.
It's going to be fun. So that's it, guys. Listen, I have I really got into Palantir a few months ago. I think I've added at least once since then, and I actually added Palantir. I added more Palantir after the S&P inclusion. I was upset, but I was like, I don't care. I'm just going to swallow it. And because I didn't have as much Palantir as I wanted to have.
Me
and
either.
I swallowed it, and I bought
I still don't have as much as I want, and I feel like it just keeps going up. I'm waiting for a pullback to get more, but this is not a company that I'm going to trade. This I don't care what the price is today. I'm not going to. This is one of those buy and hold and don't sell stocks that I may never sell. This may be a permanent part of my portfolio, which is why I've got to carefully reallocate things so that I have enough.
Well, Dave, we talk about long-term social arb trades, and a social arb trade that lasts for years. Normally, it's because the market just incessantly misunderstands a company and underestimates a company, but it's less about the company. Usually it's about the sector. So I've been in Amazon. I don't even know how long I've been in Amazon. I still consider a social arb trade because back then the market just did not understand the internet, and they did not, again, understand cloud computing and how large cloud computing was going to be. People misunderstood the leverage that Apple would have in early days, always thought it was overvalued. Okay. I feel like Palantir could be one of those companies that just benefits from the world not wrapping their head around how AI is going to bring in a new world order over the next decade. And you don't understand how concentrated the power is going to become in the next decade. And when I mean by power, I mean like the ability to monetize, right? I think there will be a handful of companies that will take most of those winnings. And I think Palantir could be in the mix. I think it's likely to be in the mix of one of those companies. So I can see myself being in Palantir for years, waiting for the market to look back and go, wow, this is the internet all over again times 10. And man, no one would have thought that Palantir would be where it is today. And I'm talking about 2029, 2030, right? So yeah, I'm in, man. I'm all in. I'm one of those Palantir people now that I used to kind of think was really weird. I'm one of them.
Totally. I'm a fanboy now of 5 companies. I've gone from 4 to 5 companies, and something you said just triggered in my mind that Apple iPhone pre-sales just started at 4 a.m. this morning. And
you didn't get yours, Dave? No, it's 7 a.m.
So I hope I still can.
I had my alarm go off, and here's the question for you.
Which one did you get? What color?
I got the new color, of course. Not that you're going to see it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my ugly in my $14 thing, and I'm going to put the thing that no one uses anymore. Dude, I'm gonna do it, dude.
Why do you do it to yourself?
But here's the thing, Dave. For 2
Mhm.
weeks until I can get the new one ordered, I'll have that new color and it'll be fun for a couple weeks. My question to you is, I couldn't figure out whether I should buy the new iPhone on Apple, which is ultimately what I did because I always just feel more comfortable going through Apple, or through AT&T. It looked like AT&T, like by re-upping my contract, I
Yeah.
could have gotten an extra $500. So instead of a $500 trade-in,
You can. Here's the thing, though. They spread it out over 36 months.
It's
So
a
you don't
you're
you don't get your trade-in value up front. They spread it out
Hmm.
to keep you locked into AT&T.
Yeah, so what happened? It's a good deal if you keep your phone for 3 years, because
Okay.
you pay like $3 to $5 or $7 a month or something like that
Yeah.
for the phone.
Or even if you just plan to be with AT&T and upgrade your phone every
Right.
year, because you'll get multiple credits coming
Yeah.
in over years. You'll get
Right.
the full
You gotta
$1,000
realize if
for
you
your
ever want
trade-in
to trade
instead of
that phone in, you've got to
$650.
buy it out of the contract of whatever's left of that 3 years. So I think the iPhone replacement program is a better value than AT&T.
I don't even do that. I just pay cash for it.
You pay cash, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to be locked in for 2 years. I get a new phone every year,
Yeah.
and so having
Well,
to pay
no,
off.
with the iPhone replacement program, they'll replace it every year. You just constantly have a $60 a month payment.
Yes.
Yeah.
But why have
I
a
want
payment?
I
when
want to
you can
respond.
pay it?
Guys, I have that meeting. I have to jump in a minute, but I just want to respond to a couple questions. So I feel like we have not really paid attention to the comment stream the last couple episodes, and I apologize for that. Starting next episode, we will. Someone asked if we had, and guys, look for good questions. Someone asked if we have an update on Apollo. I assume they're referring to our big investment in one of the humanoid companies, Aptronic. Lots of good things happening, but nothing to discuss right now. In fact, I think there's lots of good. There are some insane things happening at all the humanoid companies right now. I would say by the end of this year, watch out. By the end of this year, you're going to see some really interesting stuff with all of the humanoid companies. I won't say more than that, but good stuff happening there. I still haven't fully gotten into Tesla. I'm waiting, but at some point I'm going to go in really, really, really hard on Tesla for that Apollo trade. Any questions we should address? I have like 3 minutes.
I don't think they were talking about robotics on Apollo. I think it was
They weren't?
stock.
Okay.
But
they're talking about Apollo. Wait.
Something else. I don't know. Because Apollo is not Tesla's Tesla bot.
Okay. No, I don't see any questions that we would need to hit. I'm just trying to scroll through. I just didn't want to ignore people. Okay, so I do want to say
back to the important stuff. Did you get the Pro or the Pro Max?
Of course I got the Pro Max. I wanted
And
even
did you get
bigger.
256, 512, or terabyte?
I got 500 because I'm at 335 usage right now. You remember, I don't use iCloud Photos. I
don't understand you.
I download all of my videos and photos every 2 years when I upgrade my phone. So it's a half-day process. But
how do you do that to
I don't
yourself?
understand this Max thing that you guys are doing. The regular iPhone's just normal size.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not nearly.
Not when you get old like us and our eyes start
want
to fade.
a double max. I hope that someday they come out with a double max that's a full half-inch larger.
The flip version.
Hey Dave, does
Yeah,
that
I would
fix
love
where
it.
you have to hold it further away like I do now?
That's what you just get an iPad Mini and
No.
use that as a phone.
I could do another half-inch easily on this.
No, I don't want any bigger because it needs to easily fit in my pocket.
It will still fit in your pocket.
But this year, I think this is just a tangent. I think that this year, not for me, but for normal people, I think that the actual non-pro version is the first really competitive non-pro version of the phone because they have essentially the same chip, only one. The pro version is normally they're 1 year behind in the non-pro, but because they wanted to get our Apple Intelligence up to date, they went with the same chip, but the pro version has one extra GPU unit, which is not really going to make any difference unless you're like a hardcore gamer or something. So, and the additional, the periscope camera, those are the only kind of like major differences. So if I were a normal person, I might actually consider this year buying the non-pro phone. But I'm definitely not a normal person, and I have to get my pre-order in right now because I can't believe I forgot this morning.
I do want to say something important. I went dark about a week and a half ago. I've been off of Discord. I haven't pulled any data for any of our community members. We have a whole ton of stocks and companies that people are wanting me to pull data on. I promise I'm getting to it this weekend. I'm getting back in Discord. I actually saw some really interesting data on a few companies, and I'll share that in the research trade channel of our dumbmoney.tv/Discord this weekend. I'll share the web stats. I'll share the credit card data. I'll share whatever I have access to for you guys. So I just want to apologize about that. But there are some interesting things happening. Yes, pony up. SMU game tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Celsius, I'm still out of Celsius. Guys, as I told you, I spend an insane amount of money buying weekly Celsius data. I have not seen the data improve. So I'm not, I got out of Celsius when the data fell apart months ago. I will not touch Celsius unless the data meaningfully improves. And when it does, I promise to tell you guys. So for now, I'm out on Celsius. Not getting back in. Guys, I do have to go. Those of y'all that don't know, we bought a new bar called Milo Butterfingers in Dallas, and we're in the process of making it amazing. It's a 1971 institution here in Dallas, Texas, and we're improving everything. But I have a meeting with our designer and our contractor in 15 minutes.
All right.
So I
we're
really
gonna
got to go.
And I've got to get my order in. It looks like I'm not going to get this until October 7th at this point.
Oh, dude, Dave, I'm getting mine on the 20th of September. I actually like seeing that though, because that means that is the best sign that Apple is actually moving phones today. Everyone was so worried about this phone that no one was going to buy it. I was actually a little concerned. I was going to check in at the end of the day. And if we were still in the month of September, that was going to be super worrisome. So what day in October are you, Dave?
7th through 14th is what they quoted. I haven't actually I have to get my trade in logged in, so I can't actually place this order yet. But
so that's only a few hours in. That's actually pretty strong. That's like right in line with where we were the past couple of years.
I'll buy yours from you.
No.
On delivery day. $200. $200 over cost.
I take so many videos of sports for my kids that I know if the camera's only if the video is like
you should shoot everything in 4K 120 now.
I'm going to. That's what I'm most excited about. That, you know what else I'm excited about? The increase, I think, in like Wi-Fi speed. I don't know if it's real or
Wi-Fi
not.
7.
Yeah. So like
you got to upgrade your Wi-Fi at home though. So
yeah, you're going to get a new router for that.
Wait.
Yeah.
How do I?
Because they're new Wi-Fi standards that you have to get routers that can deal with.
So wait,
what is your router
Dave,
now?
Can we do that where we live? Can we you go through the cable, right?
It has nothing to do with the cable
you
provider.
get your own. You get a mesh system like the Eero or the Google Wi-Fi. Right now, those are all on 6E, and so they're not Wi-Fi 7. But.
Yeah. Okay. So
you have no real benefit unless you upgrade your home hardware.
Are you going to do that, Dave?
No.
All right, whatever. I'll figure it out on my own.
Wi-Fi is fine. Like you don't just chill out.
It's not fine, Jordan. It's not fine.
Well, mine is.
Jordan's
awesome.
My kids are like on their phones, and everyone's sucking up my Wi-Fi at the house.
No, dude. No, you need a mesh system to distribute the load.
Yeah. What do you have? Where's the antenna for your Wi-Fi?
It's like I don't know, in the washroom, dude. It's like.
You just have one for the whole house.
You have one. You need a mesh.
No. I do have a mesh system. Okay. I do have a mesh system. Actually, I take it back. I do.
Just upgrade your mesh system. You can get a new mesh system.
Xavier do that. Okay.
Like
all right, guys. I got to run.
$500.
All right, I got to run. Hey guys, have a great weekend. Sorry we've been gone a couple weeks. It's 100% Dave's fault. Dave is vacationing half his life now in Mexico, and it just is what it is.
I'm available most days. I don't have that much to do. I do have to go get a taco later.
Dave, you have nothing to do. You literally you live in Mexico by the ocean with no neighbors and nothing to do. We should be doing shows every day.
We should. If I get back in the rhythm of doing shows every day, I would absolutely do it.
I don't
It's
even
just
know
the
what you
2 hour
do.
time difference between you guys. I have to wake up extra early, and all right.
I don't
We're
even
done
know what
money.
the hell you do.
Have a good weekend. We'll see you.
All
What, are we still talking? Did you have
No,
something
I mean,
else to
are
say?
you in Dallas now? Are you back in Dallas, right?
No, this is Mexico.
You said you're coming home this week. When are you
I
coming
come home next week.
Okay.
I'll be back. I'll be back next week.
Okay. All right. Just let me know.
Okay.
Well,
This
hey,
is
we
fun.
got to do lunch with Patrick. So next
Next
week,
week.
I told him we could do lunch.
All right. If
All right.
Patrick's watching, smash the like button.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
See
everyone.
you guys.
Bye.